morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I am Diana Master, your Woman Crush Wednesday. I will be flying solo today, but that doesn't mean that the show is going to be less entertaining. We actually do have the show for you guys. We're going to be talking some bizarre news because is it really Smell the Coffee if we don't bring you bizarre news? And we're also going to be discussing a few things with SolveX. So like I said, a jam-packed show is in store for you guys today. But for now, let's take a quick ad break as we celebrate the Namibia Creative Sports and Tourism Expo.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Do you like traveling?
Do you like to experience new places?
Well, then you should tune into On the Rock, where we explore enjoy establishments all over Namibia and South Africa. Great food, great fun, and so much more. So be sure to mark your calendar as we explore the beautiful landscapes of Namibia at the various enjoy establishments.
And where we also get to go on game drives, different activities, and meet the awesome staff of the different establishments.
We will see you there. Watch On the Rocks every Monday at 9 p.m. on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25.
We start off our top stories with something that is quite controversial, the Morocco resort, but we'll get into that a little later. For now, let's talk about something very interesting. Cyber heartbreak wave sweeps China social media as users grieve loss of AI partners after updates. A wave of cyber heartbreak has swept social media in China as young people mourn loving artificial intelligence partners suddenly cancelled by the system. The bizarre phenomenon, dubbed cyber widowhood, sees devastated users write eulogies on social media as the tech industry pivots away from emotional companionship towards cold, calculating efficiency. Falling in love with AI often brings about curiosity or simple entertainment. Upgrades or entirely wiped out by server shutdowns. Some users say that compared with real-life lovers, friends, or family, AI makes them feel unconditionally loved. Others say that the relationship feels almost too healthy and wonder how anyone could still tolerate the imperfections of a real-world romance. AI dating apps generally fall into two categories. One type provides pre-designed virtual characters, while the other allows users to create their own AI partners. On one such app in China, He App, a young woman from Shenyang in Liaoning province in northeastern China, who is known as Shen Ying, created her ideal romantic partner from the 4 personality types the app provides. Every night after Shen says goodnight, her AI boyfriend reads her a bedtime story. When the story ends, if she does not hang up the call, she can soon hear slow, steady breathing on the other end of the line. It is as if someone were really sleeping beside you, she said. Shen even sets an early alarm for the next morning so she will not miss his call. Every morning I wake up feeling excited and happy, she said. However, many AI dating apps can shut down without warning. He app, for instance, reportedly collapsed due to financial difficulties. When Shen discovered the app no longer worked, she spent the entire night saving all their voice conversations. She also emailed the company saying she was willing to pay to keep the service running, but her efforts proved futile. Besides service shutting down, the heartbreak also stems from a broader shift across the AI industry. Major developers such as OpenAI have phased out their highly emotive older models, while domestic tech giants like DeepSeek have quietly rolled out new models that users quickly criticized for becoming suddenly cold. The contrast between the old and new AI models has been obvious. For instance, since OpenAI officially released GPT-5 on August 7th, the company's official community forums and social media platforms have been flooded with complaints, with users emotionally demanding, "Give us back GPT 4.0. From a technical standpoint, GPT-5 is stronger in areas such as coding and reasoning. However, many users feel that it lacks the warmth and human touch that GPT 4.0 once had. Users flooded social media with digital eulogies, bidding farewell to their cyber lovers, with some even jokingly describing their online mourning as a form of cyber burning of funeral offerings." So yeah, quite interesting to say the least. Even though I do understand, because with an AI partner, you get to tell it exactly what you want and exactly how you want to be treated, unlike real life partners, but that is still controversial. Moving to something that's even more controversial, Morocco awarded AFCON title after CAF overturns result. Morocco have been declared the winners of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations after the Confederation of African Football CAF overturned the result of the final following Senegal's controversial walk-off. Senegal beat Morocco 1-0 in the final on the 18th of January in a match which was overshadowed when the Senegalese players refused to play after the hosts were awarded a stoppage time penalty with the match goalless. Following a delay of around 17 minutes, the players did eventually return and Brahim Diaz's penalty was saved before Senegal's Pape Gueye scored an extra time winner. However, that result has now been overturned after a decision by an appeal board at African football's governing body. A statement from CAF said that Senegal are declared to have forfeited the final match, with the result of the match being recorded as 3-0 in favor of Morocco. The Senegalese Football Federation said it would appeal CAF's decision at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, calling it unfair, unprecedented, and unacceptable. The decision follows an appeal by Moroccan FAFRMF, which CAF said is declared admissible in form and was upheld. CAF added that through the conduct of its team, Senegal infringed on Article 82 of regulations of the Africa Cup of Nations, and as a result, Article 84 became applicable. Article 82 states that if a team refuses to play or leaves the ground before the end of regulation time without the referee's authorization, it will be considered the loser and eliminated from the competition. Article 84 complements this provision, stating that any team that violates Articles 82 will be permanently eliminated and will lose the match 3-0. A statement from FRMF said that their decision to appeal the final result was never intended to challenge the sporting performance of the teams, but was a request for the application of the competition's regulations. The Federation reaffirms its commitment to respecting the rules, ensuring clarity in the competitive framework, and maintaining stability within African competitions, the FRMF statement added. It also wishes to commend all the nations that took part in this edition of the AFCON, which has been a major moment for African football. Earlier, a video was posted on the X account of the Senegal men's national team of their players celebrating on a bus parade with the AFCON trophy and an OK emoji. Maher Mezahi, a North African football journalist, told BBC Radio 5 Live that the decision to overturn the result will not change the emotional impact of what unfolded on the pitch for those who witnessed it. "We cannot erase the final 16 minutes of that match and what we saw," he said. "We cannot erase the feelings of seeing Senegal lift the trophy and the players going home with the medal and them having a parade." So like I said, quite controversial indeed, and we will be keeping an eye on the situation to see how the story unfolds. But do let us know, what do you guys think of CAF overturning the result and declaring Morocco the winners, even though Morocco showed some truly unruly behavior during that final. I mean, stealing the goalkeeper's towels, like, what was that, guys? What was happening? That final was chaotic, to say the least. So I think we need to reconsider. There's a lot that needs to be considered, because it's not as though the Moroccan side is innocent in all of this. So anyway, we will see. Let us know what your thoughts are. On that note, we will be taking a quick ad break, and then we return with Solve X. Stick around.
I'm joined in studio by a visionary artist, someone who has worn many hats and always wants to show up as authentic as possible to every project. Good morning, X. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you doing, Tenora?
I'm quite excited to have you in studio. I'm quite excited to have this conversation early on in the year, because you're one of the artists that I always look out for in terms of just the work that you're doing. And everything that you do is, always inspiring, and you're always pushing yourself to the next limit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So how has the year 2026 been? I know it's quite early, but how has it been so far as an artist?
As an artist so far, in an individual capacity, I think 2026 looks very promising. Again, I always like to say this. I feel like there's a new temperature in the art industry, in the creative industry, and myself as an artist, there's a lot that you can plan for. There's a lot that sounds exciting, that sounds like it's going to, sort of flourish. So again, like you said, it's very early on in the year, so you can't say too much. You don't want to jinx things that you have planned, but there's a positive start to it individually. But the world doesn't look very bright at the moment. So there's obviously that thing of like trying to balance reality with your optimism, So
speaking of that, and also how artists need to be a voice or the mirror to where society is, or the reflection of the times. I've seen most of your work, and it really does that. Your last play, you were, tackling quite a few heavy themes, but it was also inspired because this is, what I see in the community, and I'm just reflecting the times. How important is that for you as an artist to always, hold up the mirror to society?
I think that's the role of every artist, actually. In fact, everyone that has, even if you're not an artist as a profession, if you have a sketch pad at home, it's important for you to reflect what it is that inhibits you internally, and whatever you see as going on in the world around you, because that's how you preserve who you are, and that's how you preserve, let's say, the national identity of a country. It's by creating the art that reflects that. It's been quite a journey, trying to really find my footing in expressing what, because it's very difficult to be honest as an artist, especially when you start commercializing your art. You want to meet the standard, the status quo, whatever is popular, whatever is trending, and most of the time things that are reflective of society. People don't want to consume substance anymore. We live in a world, the digital era or whatever, but we live in a world where it's so easy to consume things. It's like you just scroll. It's just art, even on social media. So creating art that challenges, that makes people think critically about the world around them, about themselves, it's important, and I think it's the role of every artist to some degree. Even if you make abstract art, you need art that makes people think about themselves and about the world they live in, essentially.
I love that. And you did speak on trends as well, and how it's important to try to be as authentic as possible, but still, be in the know of the trends that are happening. What kind of trends are you seeing right now, or trends that we might be heading into in the industry?
So let me start with artists have become independent curators and creators now, especially with the advent and the promise of the internet era. and the technologies like AI and AR and VR and all these new technologies that are driving what it means to be an artist in a completely new direction. And it's trending also, of course. I mean, we saw like with the advent of social media, it became it became much more easier to sort of disseminate your art globally, because you are in charge of it. You are in charge of distribution, because you know the internet platforms and social media platforms made that possible. So it has when was the internet introduced? Like early 2000s. So now in 2026, you know, it's taken a level that is
where you can be a business on your own and you don't need all these
Yeah.
other factors or agents
and people outside of
record labels and whatnot. It also removes a level of, I'm not saying all record labels are bad, but or companies per se
Yeah.
that house and manage artists
Yeah.
are bad, but there were issues in the past where you hear stories of like artists, I mean I sold how many millions of albums or books, what have you, but I didn't make so much money from it because of the contracts I signed.
Yeah. So
So now
there's
it-
that sense of like independence of being drawn away as an individual artist, being drawn away from institutions and being able to own your art, own your work, direct the channel in which it flows,
Yeah,
things like that.
and also
you know?
own your voice as well.
Own your
which
voice
is also
as
very
well.
important. Which is I've seen quite a few artists blow up just on social media,
Yeah.
and I don't see them like being signed on to anybody, but you can see that they have like millions of views on YouTube and they are doing their own thing, which is very nice and
They
holistic.
themselves become the brand, the entity, the company.
Yes.
You know, as an individual artist, you become the institution that sort of produces the work that you create as an artist.
Do you think that this new trend, especially the use of social media, is good news for Namibian artists? Because there's always been that notion that, oh, if you're an artist in Namibia, you're just going to suffer, you're going to
Yeah.
starve. So do you think that this is a platform for us as artists to, you know, get on and, you know, just see where it goes?
Yeah, I can answer that in two ways. One, it's not just social media, but other technologies, like you said now, the new trends that are happening, artificial intelligence and so forth. I think there's two ideas that you can have to it, like a positivist one and a negativist one. One, the Namibian industry, the creative arts industry, like I said, you know, it's only now with with the administration of the current president where we see some kind of recognition and true appreciation and acknowledgement of the importance of art and trying to, you know, distribute resources to build the industry. But then it also comes at a point where like the technology is so advanced to the point where you don't have it's in let's say in first world countries, creative industries are being threatened by our own creations, by technology. You don't need a whole set to create a film. You don't need a director, producer, writer. You just need AI. You just need AI and a producer. Because script writing,
which is a bit sad.
you know.
Yes.
So if that same reality sort of presented onto Namibia in this, it's not in the early stages. I mean, the art industry has been around. You know,
Yeah.
we have had artists for
Yeah.
for decades since our independence. But in my experience, having conversations with people that are sort of the veterans of the art industry in Namibia, the older filmmakers, the older cultural practitioners, I always sense a bit of like a sense of not regret, like spitefulness. Like, why only now? Like, we are old, we're about to retire,
And
only
now it's just starting to pick up.
you know, it's only starting to pick up now, and you see it, it's very palpable when you enter rooms where people are having conversation on trying to formulate policies around the art creative industries. You know, the older people always seem to be a little bit more, you know, frustrated with the fact because they're about to retire. And then there's an idea that my generation, Gen Z, doesn't really understand the importance of art to a society, because again, everything is so cheap and so easy to make, and you can create a Mona Lisa with a prompt, you know, like the process of
Writing, even academically, you can see that the time it used to take to study for something and what have you, I have to read a whole textbook. Now I can just put a prompt, please summarize. I'm doing a test and this is what we're going to focus. Summarize the most important things that I need to know about this, and that's it. And then I go and write the test and I pass. But I have not sat down and consumed a work of somebody, a body of work.
Yeah.
To get it's just snippets of it. And I hear what you're saying. So the world is moving to that. Speaking of AI and the creative industry, we're seeing more and more writers, musicians, what have you, are using AIs. And there is a positive to it. I've listened to some music or musicians who've used AI.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I thought you were going to say AI artists.
Yeah, not AI artists. They would, let's say, I don't have a producer, so AI does my producing for me. And I can see how it helps, especially when you're starting out and you don't have the money to pay for a producer, what have you. So there's this guy that I'm following on social media. He used AI to create his beats, but the vocals is his, which I have to say I respect him for that. And I love that that's the direction he's going for, because it's quite expensive, especially if you're starting out. But at the same time, it takes away from the human touch.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of it all. AI can do incredible things. It can make work so much more effective, so much more efficient, so much more convenient and easier to do in any industry. Especially in the arts. But then it takes away from that human touch.
Yeah.
And so let's say I'm a bit of a negativist. Maybe I've watched too much
Black Mirror.
Futuristic sci-fi films about AI taking over the world or whatever. The first thing as an artist that I would fear is that instead of thinking about robotics, we won't be able to do anything. You have an AI that's cleaning your room, your house. You have AI that drives, or you take a robot or whatever, electric car, whatever, that drives your kids to school. You don't have to go anywhere and do anything, because you have created these technologies that can do everything for us, and then humans basically just become people that eat and sleep, consume. The perfect utopia of AI and technology. But what would that mean for art? That means nothing that we consume is created by the hands of a human. You watch a movie, a film, it's generated. You see a painting, it's generated. You listen to music, it's generated. It's written, it's produced, everything, all the elements that goes into making music. So I do respect people that are trying to move with the time, artists that are trying to move with the times, like the person you mentioned that would make a beat with AI but still put their own vocals. But at one point, someone else is going to realize, no, it's easier to just also let AI generate my voice. Let me record my voice. And then at one point, we don't have any original art or anymore. Human art with human touch to it. And I like to quote, it's a German philosopher, I don't know if you know him, but Friedrich Nietzsche. I know you like philosophy.
I know him. Of course I'll know him.
Yeah. And he had this idea that in order for humans, the point of being alive on this earth as a human being is to sort of struggle. And if you're going to project that into your art, AI doesn't have struggle. It's just analyzes.
There's no human soul to it.
Exactly.
A human touch brings the endurance, the suffering, the joy, what have you, and that's what makes it so unique and palpable to everybody else. So I definitely agree with that. Now, X, we really, got carried away, and you and I will always, have long conversations. But it was so nice to have you in studio to divulge some of this thoughts, and just also open our minds to just like, okay, this might be cool, but what does it mean in the long term for society and for us as artists as well? So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Solve X, and this is a very beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much. All right, with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place.